One pilot, one aircraft, one engagement. The AI won 5-0. Not close, not controversial. 5 engagements, 5 wins against a trained U.S. fighter pilot flying the same aircraft with the same weapons under the same conditions. Inside the Pentagon, one number followed that result into every room it entered: $1.7 trillion. The projected lifetime cost of the F-35 program, according to the Government Accountability Office, the most expensive weapons program in American history, an aircraft built around a pilot. And the pilot just lost. This is the story of what that defeat actually means for the F-35, for the men who fly it, and for the next war, which will not wait for the answer. Start with the physics, because the physics is where this ends. The F-35 was designed to sustain 9G, 9 times the force of gravity. That is not an engineering preference. It is a biological ceiling. At 9G, blood evacuates the brain. A trained pilot in a full pressure suit loses consciousness in seconds. The Air Force has lost aircraft to it. Every design decision in the F-35's cockpit, the ejection system, the life support, the structural limit, exists because of that one constraint. At 9G, a human blacks out. A machine doesn't. Remove the pilot and the ceiling disappears. An AI-controlled aircraft is limited only by what the airframe can physically survive. Future airframes built without a cockpit could sustain maneuvers the F-35 was never designed to attempt, turns that would kill any pilot alive before they completed them. That gap between what a human body allows and what a machine can endure is what August 2020 actually measured. In August 2020, DARPA ran a competition. 8 AI development teams. The final match, the best AI, built by a company called Heron Systems, against a trained human F-16 pilot, simulated within visual range combat. 5 engagements. The AI won all 5. Its preferred tactic was high deflection gunshots at angles the human pilot said no human would attempt. Geometries that require reaction speeds and G-tolerance no human possesses. The AI didn't blink, it didn't fatigue. It solved the geometry of each engagement faster than the pilot could track. The Air Force noted the simulation had limits. The sensors were idealized. Real combat variables were absent. They were already planning the next test. DARPA's follow-on program tested the same question in actual flight. The aircraft was a modified F-16 operated at Edwards Air Force Base in California. By late 2023, it had flown more than 21 test sorties under AI control. In at least one of those sorties, it flew live combat maneuvers against a human-piloted F-16. The 2 aircraft closed within 1,000 feet of each other at combined speeds exceeding 1,200 miles per hour. DARPA called it safe, effective AI-piloted flight in a tactically relevant scenario. In May 2024, Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall flew in the AI-controlled aircraft himself. He called the performance remarkable. He said it exceeded expectations. The most senior civilian in the United States Air Force just told you the machine flies better than the pilot. Now consider what that means for the pilot. Every fighter pilot understands what this result implies. Entire careers are built around mastering a skill. Reading angles, managing G-force, making split-second decisions under physical duress. That a machine learned to perform better, faster, and without a body in the seat. For decades, the cockpit was the center of air power. The pilot was the irreplaceable variable. August 2020 was the first public evidence that the variable had changed. But that wasn't the real problem. The real problem is what happens when those pilots are needed most, and there aren't enough of them. General Mark Kelly, former commander of Air Combat Command, said in 2022, "The next war will be won or lost in the first 72 hours, and we may not have enough pilots to fight it." Not a shortage of recruits, a shortage of experienced combat pilots at the exact moment a conflict demands them. In the first 3 days of a war over Taiwan, jets burn faster than pilots can be replaced. Each lost F-35 is not just $100 million of hardware. It is years of training, institutional knowledge, and potentially a life, none of which reconstitutes on any procurement schedule. Every lost autonomous aircraft is a logistics problem. That is a cold distinction. It is also the calculation driving every major acquisition decision the Air Force has made since 2022. The U.S. Air Force is building the replacement architecture now. The program is called Collaborative Combat Aircraft, autonomous uncrewed fighters designed to fly alongside piloted aircraft or independently into environments where sending a human is no longer acceptable. 2 prototype designs from General Atomics and Anduril Industries were selected for development contracts in April 2024. A competitive fly-off is scheduled for 2025 to 2026. Initial development budget, approximately $6 billion. Target unit cost, $25 to $30 million per aircraft. One F-35 funds 3 to 4 of them. The official position from Lockheed Martin and the Air Force is that these systems are complementary. The F-35 provides sensor fusion and stealth penetration. The autonomous aircraft extend its reach and absorb attrition in corridors where no crewed aircraft should go. The pilot remains at the center, directing the machines around him. That holds today, and it may hold for years. The F-35's ability to collect, process, and distribute battlefield data across a networked force is not something a $25 million drone replicates overnight. That capability took decades to build. The question nobody in an official position wants to answer is what happens when it does transfer. When that processing power fits inside an airframe designed to be lost. When the machine no longer needs the quarterback. That is not a hypothetical. It is an engineering trajectory, and the engineers working on it are not all American. If you like breakdowns like this, where we show how wars are changing before most people notice, subscribe now. We cover this every week. And this is where the picture gets harder to look at. The United States built its autonomous combat aircraft under a legal constraint its adversaries did not accept. U.S. policy requires human authorization before any autonomous system fires a weapon. The AI can identify the target. It can fly the intercept. A human must approve the shot. America built AI that waits for permission. China may have built AI that doesn't. China's uncrewed combat aircraft program has been running for years without equivalent public constraints. A stealthy flying wing drone appeared at Beijing's National Day Parade in 2019. Not announced, revealed. A high-altitude combat drone was displayed at a Chinese airshow in 2018. In 2023, Chinese state media reported AI systems had simulated air combat against human pilots. The results were not independently verified. The claim was not retracted. A Rand Corporation analysis from 2023 assessed that China's AI-enabled military investment is on pace to match or exceed U.S. capability in certain domains by the early 2030s. Neither Beijing nor Moscow has publicly committed to requiring human authorization before an autonomous system fires. If China's aircraft don't wait for that authorization, if the AI identifies the target and takes the shot without a human in the loop, then the seconds America spends waiting for approval are the seconds a war is decided inside. The Kratos Valkyrie drone first flew in March 2019. Unit cost, $3 to $4 million. Range, more than 1,500 nautical miles. In 2023, it launched a second drone from its internal weapons bay during flight, one autonomous aircraft deploying another mid-mission, no pilot present. The sequence required no human input after takeoff. The Pentagon calls aircraft like this attritable. What that means is that this machine was built to go where you will not send a human being, into the densest air defenses on Earth, absorbing missiles that would otherwise kill a pilot. It is not a supplement to the crewed force. It is a shield built from hardware cheap enough to lose. The F-35 was not built that way. Its cockpit, its ejection seat, its life support, its 9G limit, every one of those decisions exists because a human being sits inside it. Strip out the pilot and you don't have a cheaper F-35. You have a different machine entirely, built for different physics, capable of going places the original was never designed to survive. We cover programs like this every week, the ones that changed how countries fight and the ones that showed exactly how they fail. If you're not subscribed yet, now is a good time. DARPA Program Manager Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Heffron said in 2023, "We are not building Skynet. We are building tools that allow pilots to do more with less and survive." Probably accurate. It is also what every program manager says about a technology in the years before it no longer needs the thing it was built to support. The steam engine was built to supplement horses. At some point, the distinction stopped mattering. The F-35 will keep flying. 17 nations have committed to it. The contracts are too deep. The industrial dependencies too wide for any sudden change. The aircraft will be operational for decades. But the question August 2020 answered, can an AI outfly, outmaneuver, and outshoot a trained human pilot, now has a confirmed answer, a live flight answer from Edwards Air Force Base. An endorsement from the most senior civilian in the Air Force, and a Chinese program that almost certainly arrived at the same answer without publishing the results. America built the perfect fighter for the age of human pilots. The problem is that age may already be over.